Welcome back to the SteadyTrade Podcast, everyone. I'm Tim Bohen, back with Matt McCall, and got another very interesting big picture idea. And I think, like, especially time frame wise, this might be one of the biggest things we see short term. Like, obviously AI, we've talked a lot about AI. You're going to hear us talk more about AI, but that's still kind of building up, finding its way. But I see something that's happening right now, and I'm sure many of you might know, and maybe your users as well, is what I call them the GLP-1s, the Ozempics, the Mounjaros, et cetera, these medications that are allowing people to just lose a massive amount of weight and feel better about themselves and be more productive. So, like, when I talk about this, I'm a big diet and exercise guy. You guys know that. But, like, I know a lot of people, especially who are really busy, you got a lot going on. It can be difficult to fix the diet and get all that exercise in. And listen, we all know if you're overweight, low energy, you're less productive. You're not going to get as much done. And that's why I want to ask Matt to talk about this. Is I'll probably misquote it, but like I saw a Goldman Sachs article where they're talking about just like the ridiculous amount of economic impact of these things, and not just the sales, not to just Novo Nordisk and et cetera, but the productivity enhancements. And again, if you guys know me, I'm all on optimization. I read all these self-help books, and like, that's what gets me excited. And I just like the idea of more productive people, more happy people. And that's what excites me about these. Now, before I bring Matt come in, listen, I don't know. Like one thing I will say is I don't know the long-term effects of these things. I'm sure many of you are saying that as well. But you look right now, and as of right now, it's like all positive. Like I'm not sure if you saw some of the headlines, like, a lot of people are struggling with addictions like smoking and drinking. They don't have the temptation to smoke. They don't have the temptation to drink. Like, it's helping just all of these little peripheral things. So that's what excites me. It gets me excited about the business world, productivity, and more happy people. Like, I steal this from Joe Rogan. If you watch Rogan, you've heard it millions of times. The world is better when there's less losers. Like, when there's more productive people, when there's more people making money, when more people are happier, the world is a better place. More things get done, better families, it helps everyone. So that's what I kind of look at this as, just a great way for people to feel better about themselves, get more productive, and then the economic impact.
Yeah, so it's funny. I have a podcast, episode 3, GLP and overweight lazy people. That's a title I have written down here. I didn't want to say that at first because it's probably not politically correct, but at the end of the day, I love this topic because it's several $100 billion opportunity. Yep. This is just the next 10 years. It could be trillion over years, right?
Exactly.
And you can talk about economic impact. It's going to be in the trillions over the years.
Yep.
I love that aspect of it, but I'm like you. I've been working on staying in shape for 48 years of my life, and I'm never going to stop. I'd lose my mind if I didn't go to the gym, several times a week or walk or something. But I'll tell you this. I like that when it comes to investing, right? It's simple but not easy. You follow your plan.
Yep.
Getting in shape is simple but not easy.
100%.
You eat better and you work out. It's so simple, but it's tough. They get up and work out. It's tough to eat well if you're running around. Like, we had lunch here and we eat some fast food. Like, it's tough to do that. So I don't blame anybody. I'm not pointing fingers, but this new injection, which will soon be approved as a pill, basically gets rid of obesity. And
and when we'll probably talk about HIMS, but like also cost. Like, I know a lot of you are thinking $1,000 a month. One of the reasons I wanted to talk about this is HIMS announced like a $50 a week one. And so it's like, this is, you think of, I think of this as like technology.
And HIMS is stock, H-I-M-S.
Yep. So H-I-M-S, yeah. So I think of this as like technology. And again, I've talked about my technology background, and you think of like the personal computer. Like, I remember our first computer was like $5,000 in like 1985 dollars. I have no idea how Dad afforded it, okay? But, and then you look, you fast forward today, and you can literally get a supercomputer for a couple $100. So.
Yeah, I mean, and you look at the obesity problem, and I don't want to make light of it. I mean, there's, according to the World Obesity Foundation, 2.6 billion people in the world that are either overweight or obese. By 2035, they think that number's going to be 4 billion people. I mean, how many people on the earth? That you're looking at, what, 40% of the people on earth at that point potentially are overweight or obese, and that's scary because most deaths can be related back to obesity. Everything from heart disease to cancer. To
that's the dirty little secret that nobody really talks about. They're like, well, okay, what other things is this affecting? Is this causing your cancer? Is this causing your kidney failure, or your diabetes? You know, all of these things, and that's the scary part about it. Like now, listen, skinny people get cancer, the skinny people get sick, but you know that's why I always kind of bring it back to trading. We always talk about risk to reward. Okay, what's your risk to reward of being 200 pounds overweight? Yeah. It ain't good. It ain't good.
No. And it's amazing. I'm sure we all know somebody who's that overweight, unfortunately, and they go to the doctor like, everything looks great.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing?
Meanwhile, the doctor's 200 pounds.
Yeah,
smoking a cigarette.
Exactly. You know, so this to me is a huge investment opportunity, and it's a newer one. I mean, really, you know, it's come out as of late. And of course, there's all types of these research firms, Tim, coming out saying, you know, what it's going to be worth. Guggenheim believes the GLP-1s will reach between $150, $200 billion value. Jefferies thinks 150 by 2031. I think it was Goldman Sachs or Morgan just came out last week. They upped theirs to 150 million. So there's kind of a consensus between 150 and $200 million in the next 7 years or so. That's a lot of money for these pharmaceutical companies. That's why Novo is now the largest company in Europe.
Novo Nordisk.
Yeah. You want the two, them and Lilly are the only one that are approved for it. And keep in mind, you know, these started as obesity drugs, and they saw how much people weight they lost. And, you know, for example, Lilly's, the one that's for obesity, wasn't approved until November 2023. So
that was that. Okay, I didn't really. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
So that was called it's called Zepbound.
Yep.
And so they expect by 2031, which is 7 years, that one drug that was just approved less than a year ago to do $4.1 billion annually. Just think about how that affects some of these companies. We're going to talk about some small ones here in a second, but I have these notes, and I just can repeat myself over and over. It's everybody sees this, and we all know it, and we know obesity is a problem. And I hate to say it, it's not just in America. I know most people won't take the time to change their habits.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You know?
Unfortunately. Like, I wish it wasn't the sake, but, you know, and I kind of like it. And I kind of like to make excuses. I mean, we all have really busy lives and stuff, but at the end of the day, it is just discipline. But if you don't have that discipline, this is an option, you know? And listen, like, that's where I try and avoid passing judgment. Like, because I think, like, if you can go from, you know, hundreds of pounds overweight to a healthy weight, like it's just better for you. And listen, diet and exercise is probably gonna take you 3 years, like flat out.
Yeah,
like it ain't easy losing 200 pounds. Okay, and if this gets you there, and then I hope that then people then regulate and, you know, and maybe fix some things so they don't have to be on them for life. Like don't be on it for life. But that's what, and then you feel better. And I kind of said that in an opening statement, but like you feel better about yourself. You're better with your family. You're better with your kids. You're better at your job. That's what excites me more than anything. It's like, sure, I got a swing trade on Hims right now. I hope it goes to $500 a share. Okay. But what excites me the most, and that's why I wanted to talk about it, is all of those like halo effects that I see. So
it really will. And, you know, just getting maybe your confidence back, and then you have the confidence to go out and meet somebody or get a better job or whatever. It really does add to it. The one concern, just play devil's advocate, is it's another skirting. You know, you're skirting by. It's like you're almost,
it's the American way.
You're almost adding to the league. Now you get an injection once a month and go to the gym 20 days a month. And I get it. Like and I agree with you. We're all busy, but if you can't carve 45 minutes out of the day to do some push-ups and sit-ups and stretching stuff, or go for a damn walk outside, get some freaking fresh air.
And that would be one tip. So many of you might know Andrew Huberman, Peter Attia. Okay, they're kind of the two top, like what you would call like biohackers. And I saw a piece from Andrew Huberman that like a lot of people that are taking these, you know, sure they lose the weight, but they're not necessarily that much healthier. And he said, like, he's like, and keep in mind, Matt and I both like to lift, but like, he's just like some sort of strength training. Like you don't have to go and rip deadlifts and do squats and bench all day long, but do some resistance training. If you go down to the Equinox and you do the machines, like he's like, that is like a force bump.
Yeah.
Because now you're using your natural body to then supplement that instead. And so again, my advice would be, hey, if you're on them, it's cool. I don't judge, but like do something to supercharge.
Exactly. And even if you're not on a get out to a gym and work out, or do some push-ups or something, go for a walk. So let's talk about some investment opportunities.
Sure.
So obviously we know Lilly, Novo, they're approved.
Yep.
There's a couple other that are phase 2, phase 3 coming up. One that's got a lot of press over the last year or two is Viking Therapeutics.
Yep. BKGX. Yeah. So I remember that was one, back before the GLPs, we like Matt. Remember, Matt and I kind of come from different worlds. I'm in the penny stock, like day trading world with a little bit of swing trading. He's a little more longer term. Like VKTX, man, they were the king of like these obesity press releases, man. They'd pump out the PRs. Now they would always fail 2 days later, but for years and years, that was one of our favorite stocks. And then it was crazy. It was like 6 months ago. Someone was like, you say VKTX is like at $100 a share? And like, what? It's a penny stock. Yeah. Is it $100 a share? Because once they kind of get out of our realm in day trading, they get high price, they get less volatility. And I was like arguing with this guy, and I brought it up. I'm like, VKTX is $100 a share? And that was a piece of crap penny stock.
There, it's about a $1.5 or so billion company. Like, if their drug gets approved, which it could in the next couple of years, this could be $3 or $4. I mean, honestly, and you think about you trading it back in a block, yeah, like that's how many prints. That's where you get the 400 baggers.
Exactly.
There's another one that just about a week ago, Structure Therapeutics GPCR came out. Yeah, it was actually on June 3rd. It was up 90% at one point intraday, closed up 60%. But they had a phase 2 report that came out, and it's a tablet. It's a once-a-day tablet versus taking the pill. But that's one of several companies. And I'll tell you a 30-second story. I don't day trade. I follow your stuff in the mornings, but I usually have time. I'm doing other shit.
Yep.
So I get up, I saw it, and I follow these companies. I have a whole GLP-1 list. Saw the news. It went from 34 to 36. I'm like, this thing's going to go to at least 40. Bought at 36 pre-market, went down to 33, market opened. I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm trying to pack for Nicaragua. I looked over, it's 38. Boom, take it. I'll take my $2,000.
That's that day trading fix, man. You can't, it's like bad habits. You can't stay away.
Minutes later, that's $60. That's $20,000 on that infamous table somewhere. $1,000. But of course, anytime you make money, I'm not going to complain. But you can see. So that's another one. Altimmune, small company, ALT. Biohaven has a drug in there, BHBN as well. One that I've owned for a while, and I took like a 60% profit in like a year. It's called Zealand Pharma. It's based over in Scandinavia. ZLDPF, it trades here as an ADR.
Okay.
I think this could be one of the major players in Europe and really kind of catch up to Novo. One to keep an eye on. The stock's moved a lot over the last year, but it is one to keep an eye on. There's other small ones I want to get into. But then you start looking at picks and shovels, right? So who is the distributor of this? Who puts this stuff in the syringes? That's what's huge. McKesson and Sensora. Okay. When you look at McKesson stock, MCK, one of the best performing large cap pharmaceutical related stocks over the last couple of years, trading at an all time high right now. So that's a way like these have to be filled.
Right? I never, like you always think about like when we talk about these sectors, again, the picks and shovels, the infrastructure, but I never really even thought about that.
Yeah,
for this
filling that. Yeah. There's another one, Sensora, symbol COR. It's a direct competitor. It's about a $40 billion company, so still big, but they concentrate on GLP-1s, a lot of it. I own it personally right now. I'm down a little bit on it, but they do the delivery of the pre-filled injections. Okay. So they pre-fill it with the Ozempic, whatever it is, and send it out to the doctor's office. So that's one I think to keep an eye on. And then recently, Bespoke, which does some research, I got the research. They came out and they did a little research on the one effect of this is obviously you lose your weight, and we're just talking about people aren't working out, and you're losing lean muscle mass, which you need. I mean, otherwise your body falls apart.
Right. There's one of the big reasons I do all the stuff that I do is like my dad, unfortunately, had a bunch of surgeries. He passed away 2 years ago. And like at the end, man, he just like can barely get out of his chair. And when people think, when you hear lean muscle mass, you think again, a bunch of dudes benching.
Yeah.
But like, listen, as you age, that was him. He had his joints were so bad, and it was sad. We'd be at Thanksgiving, he'd just kind of be like sitting in his chair. He could barely get to the dinner table because of all those joint issues. He lost the muscle mass, and then goes your mobility. And he's a farmer, he's a factory worker. Like this guy wanted to move, and it really massively last 10 years of his life, his quality of life sucked.
Yeah, that's something you need to. And you talk about Huberman and these other guys, lean muscle mass is extreme. And you and I, we're going to do a show on longevity coming up. But we talk about longevity, and they do your visceral fat and your lean body mass and all the stuff. At least my place does. And
DEXA scan.
Yeah, DEXA scan. Yeah, and I'm a little bit above average, obviously, for my age and everything. But I could do better. I need to do better, and it does lead to longevity. So if you want to live a long, healthy, happy life, you need to think about this. So anyway. So Bespoke did this, and they said, there's going to be a huge demand for protein because people aren't hungry, so they're not going to sit down and eat a big chicken breast or a big piece of salmon.
Yeah, so just so you guys know, and I think we're tight on time here, but keep in mind, if you don't know how these things work, basically they just turn off your appetite. So what a lot of people are struggling with, the reason they're losing muscle mass is because they're not hungry. They're not getting enough protein to support that muscle mass because they're simply not hungry. Like maybe that's how these things work. It just shuts off your appetite.
You need protein to live.
Yes.
You need protein to live. So to keep it short, 2 companies that they didn't recommend, but they mentioned, and real quick, they showed the Google search for protein bars, protein powder spiking over the last 2 years. So people are looking for it. So to me, this is not even, it's like a tertiary play off this. Simple Good Foods, symbol SPML. They make the Quest line. You've probably seen Quest.
Yep.
I bought recently from Whole Foods. I did delivery when I'm in the United States. I bought a bag of Quest Dorito-looking chips, right? I know I'm not healthy, but I like chips. $6. That damn bag came. It was a travel bag. $6. But it had like 40 grams of protein.
Oh, no, geez, really?
Like 40 grams of protein. So that's one to keep on. The other one is Bell Ring Brands, symbol BRBR. They have a couple of different brands, Premier Protein and Power Bar. They do Power Bars. So those are 2, just again, kind of keep an eye on. If you think this trend is going to continue, realize, and you talked about this really early on when you set us up, Tim, which is great, the economic impact of this will be in the trillions of dollars, that it's not just the Novos and the Eli Lillys. There's so many other plays. You can't ignore this. It's not going away. This should be a part of your portfolio.
Well, thanks again, Matt. And nice to see you in person. So guys, we're it's kind of cool. Matt and I, he's a globetrotter and I travel quite a bit. So we got in studio together, and so next time we'll probably see you back on Zoom. But as always, drop us a comment. Let us know. We recently relaunched the SteadyTrade Podcast. Listen, we got our plan, but we want to make this what you guys want to see. So as always, drop us that comment, like them, share with your friends if you found it interesting, and we'll see you on the next SteadyTrade Podcast.